Book of Blood. Book of Blood. Focus question. How does the circulatory system work? Special delivery. Imagine, if you will, a giant post office. Mail trucks enter at one end, gather new mail to be delivered, and then continue on their journey. The mail trucks drive along their designated routes, dropping off and picking up mails as they go. The trucks then return to the post office, and the whole process begins again. On a much smaller scale and in a much different way, this analog describes your circulatory system. Your heart is like the main pumping station or the main post office, and your blood vessels are the roads over which the mail trucks travel. And what are the mail trucks themselves? Your red blood cells. Let's continue with this mail delivery analogy. You've probably heard the saying that the mail gets delivered, come rain or come shine. Well, the circulatory system never rests either. Your heart is always pumping, even when you may feel so exhausted to move. Your body is always rushing through blood vessels, circulating the blood through your body. Circulation is the movement of something in a circle or circuit, and essentially, that's how your circulatory system works. Your blood travels in a circuit around your body, starting and ending at your heart. The pumping station. Place your hand over your heart, and what can you feel? You can feel your heart in action. Your heart is like command central or the main pumping station for your circulatory system. The heart is a muscle, and it is about the same size as your fist, but the heart is unlike any other muscle in your body. To move the muscles in your arms and legs, you send a message to your brain. Your brain then sends a message which activates the muscles. But your heart muscle doesn't need you to tell it what to do. Your heart muscle pumps on its own all the time, without you thinking about it. Blood bonus. Your heart muscle contracts about 100,000 times every 24 hours. That's 700,000 contractions in a week and 36.4 million contractions a year. Imagine working around the clock without taking a break. The heart's main function is to pump the blood, and that follows through your body, keeping the blood constantly to the move. The diagram below shows how a blood pumps through the heart. Vessel voyage. Blood that leaves the heart has been enriched with oxygen from the lungs, which then circulates to the very ends of your body, supplying your body with oxygen. The blood then makes its way back to the heart, its supply of oxygen having been depleted. The heart pumps the oxygen-poor blood to the lungs, where it gets re-energized with fresh oxygen, and then the journey through the body begins again. Blood does not flow just anywhere it wants, nor does it float around in a random pattern. Instead, the blood in your body is confined to tubes called blood vessels that act as routes to help blood cells make their journey to all parts of your body. Blood venous. The largest blood vessel in your body is the aorta. It is the largest artery. The largest vein is the vena cava. Your body has several types of blood vessels. One type of blood vessel is an artery, which carries blood away from the heart. The walls of an artery are thick and strong to handle the pressure of the heart's pumping action. The arteries carry blood loaded with oxygen and nutrients to other parts of your body. A second type of blood vessel is a vein, which carries blood back to your heart. Veins are not as thick as arteries because they are less at risk of bursting than arteries. Veins also have valves to prevent blood from flowing backward. The blood carried by veins does not have very much oxygen. This blood is on its way back to the heart and lungs to once again become oxygenated. A third type of blood vessel is a capillary, which is very small and has walls that are very thin. Capillaries transfer the oxygen and nutrients to the blood that flows through the arteries to each living cell in the body. At the same time, The capillaries pass back nutrient-poor blood to the veins. Blood bonus. If you connected the arteries, veins, and capillaries in your body end to end, they would stretch across the United States 20 times. That's 60,000 miles or about 96,560 kilometers. What is your pulse? Your pulse is actually the movement of blood vessels beneath your skin. When the heart pumps, it sends large flows of blood through the arteries. The walls of the arteries expand to accommodate this surge of blood. You feel the expanding artery wall as your pulse. When you are resting, you should be able to count about 60 to 80 pulse beats a minute. Try this. Count how many times you pulse beats in 10 seconds and multiply that number by 6. The answer you get is called your heart rate. Now try it again. But first hop on one foot for 1 minute before you count the number of beats. What happened to your heart rate? Exercise gives your heart a workout as well as the other muscles of your body. Raising your pulse keeps your heart healthy. All about blood. So what actually is blood? If you've ever scraped your knee, you've probably seen the red stuff that oozes from below the skin. To naked eyes, blood might look like nothing more than a thick red liquid. Upon closer inspection, however, blood is a complicated substance, loaded with cells that are tiny and cannot be seen until you look at them using a microscope. Then there are two main types of blood cells, red and white. A soft tissue inside certain bones called marrow creates new red blood cells. A small organ near your stomach called the spleen is responsible for destroying old blood cells and for creating new white blood cells. The most common blood cell is the red blood cell, which gives blood its red color. Your body has more than 25 trillion red blood cells, and each lives for about 4 months. Your blood also has white blood cells. The white and red blood cells flow through the body in the yellow liquid called plasma. Your red blood cells look a little bit like donuts, with the holes not fully punched out. Red blood cells are the parts of the blood that carries oxygen throughout your body and also carries the nutrients that your body gets from the foods you eat. As red blood cells pass through the lining of your intestines, they absorb the nutrients from the digested food. Red blood cells also remove wastes from cells throughout your body. White blood cells also have an important job. They keep your body healthy by fighting off diseases. Essentially, white blood cells maintain your body's health by gobbling up harmful germs such as bacteria and viruses. The most common white blood cell is called neutrophil. These white blood cells are the lookouts, the guardians of your body. They are always searching for harmful germs that will make you sick. When they find these germs, they wrap themselves around the germs, then they eat them. Another type of white blood cell is called the lymphocyte, which produces antibodies to help your body combat viruses and bacteria. An antibody is a chemical that helps destroy harmful bacteria and viruses. So instead of eating the germs, the lymphocyte carries to wipe them out using chemical warfare. The third type of white blood cell is called a monocyte, which works like the neutrophil by killing unknown particles in your blood by eating them. Along with red blood cell, white blood cells and plasma, blood has one more very important component: platelets. Platelets are smaller than red and white blood cells, but their jobs are crucial to the circulatory system. Platelets help blood to clot. If you've ever cut yourself, you might have noticed that your blood eventually stops flowing. The platelets clot or cause the blood cells and plasma to clump together, blocking the flow of the blood. Fibers also form over the skin, further blocking blood flow. Eventually, these fibers form a scab over the cuts, allowing the skin underneath to heal. Many parts of your body are affected by the flow of blood through the circulatory system. Your intestines provide the blood with nutrients that you get from the foods you eat. Your kidneys remove waste products from your blood, and your liver controls the amount of sugars in your blood. The liver also keeps blood clean by removing and filtering poisons and drugs. A drop of blood. This pie graph compares the number of red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets in a drop of blood. The color red or purple. If you look closely at your hand, you can see blood vessels beneath the skin. The blood vessels, however, don't appear red, which is the color of blood. Instead, they are dark purplish color. Where are blood and the blood vessels two different colors? It actually has to do with oxygen. Red blood cells contain a protein called hemoglobin, which has iron in it. Iron enables the blood to absorb oxygen more easily. When iron and oxygen mix, the hemoglobin protein and the blood turns red. So that is why blood is red, especially when it is released from a cut or puncture. When blood starts to flow back to the heart, it has delivered most of its oxygen to the rest of your body. The blood lacks oxygen, which gives a darker color. So the blood vessels that serve as veins appear darker in color too, or purplish. The layer of skin also distorts the color of blood and blood vessels. Blood illness. Why does your foot fall asleep? Your foot falls asleep when the flow of body has been cut off. This storage usually happens if you've been sitting on your foot or ankle. Your foot begins to tingle when the blood starts to flow again. Bruises also appear purple in color. A bruise occurs when a blood vessel breaks beneath your skin, but your skin doesn't break. The blood connects under the unbroken skin, giving your skin a purplish hue. White blood cells swarm in to eat the pooling blood, and over time, the blood breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces until eventually the blood under the skin is gone. The bruise or black and blue mark has disappeared. Know your type. Not all blood is the same. Blood can be categorized and sorted into 4 types. A substance called an antigen determines your blood type. Antigens cause your blood to make infection-fighting chemicals. There are 2 kinds of antigens, A and B. If your blood has the A antigen, you have type A blood. If your blood has the B antigen, you have type B blood. If you have both antigens, your blood is type AB. And if you have neither antigen, your blood is type O. It is important to know your blood type. If you are ever in an accident and lost a lot of blood, you will need a transfusion to replace your lost blood. You can only accept blood from someone who has your blood type or type O blood. People with type O blood are called universal donors since anyone can accept their blood. Conclusion. Have you ever heard the expression that your body is like a well-oiled machine? Well, if that's true, then your blood is the oil that makes your body run. Your heart is the engine that pumps the oil through your body, and your blood vessels are the tubes through which the blood flows. Altogether, your heart, your blood vessels, and your blood make your body's circulatory system.